Okay, can't even remember how many brothers and sisters I had. Anyway, I'll start with the youngest one, which was Grace, and I think she was about 8 years older than I, and she ended up working for my father as a secretary for quite a few years. Grace and I never got a chance to get together too much because as soon as she could do things, she would go and work at the office. And the next sister was Ellen. Ellen and I were fairly close because she stayed home most of the time, where Grace was off. And then and we got along real good. And Ellen and I were very close all during the time that we were alive. We were she was alive. We were pretty close. And the next one on that was Paul. Paul was the one that gave me Clinker. And Paul and I were pretty close, other than the fact that he wasn't home very much because he had a dance band and also was going to school at the time. And but so we were not too close because just the age difference. But I do remember one thing. I always minded what he told me to do after I had my lesson. He told me to mow the lawn at one time. He was supposed to do it, but he put the job on me. And I didn't do it. So he took me down to the barn where we had our car garage, hung up by my suspenders on one of the nails.
Oh, no.
After our young kids' suspenders, all of our overalls had suspenders. Mm-hmm. And so he hung me up there and he said, "Now you stay there till you decide that you're going to do it."
Oh, my heavens.
It didn't take me long to decide to do it, hanging there. Then there was Thelma, who was very close to me, almost like a mother. When her husband went on a mission, their two children, Joyce and Elmo Jr., lived with us. So those two become almost like brothers and sisters to me. And Thelma was almost like a mother. And she was that way all as long as I can remember. She was that way. Then there was Nelson, who wasn't home very often. Nelson was an artist, and he was back east most of the time, around Chicago. But I remembered him very close, though, because every time he come to visit, he would bring us something special. I had the first hard rubber tire snow scrapes of anybody, and not what I'd say. Skates, roller skates.
Oh, roller skates?
Roller skates. Any Pawnee town. And then I was the first one that had a yo-yo. In fact, yo-yos got started in our town. Myself and one of my sisters were walking past the drugstore playing with our yo-yo. And the druggist come out and stopped us and wanted to check us what we were doing. And he showed us how to use it. And he went right back into the drugstore and ordered yo-yos. And that was the first place that sold yo-yos in Preston for, not for long, maybe a week. And then the other stores got wise. And then the oldest brother, Vincent, I knew too well. They only lived in Pocatello, which was not far from us. And they visited us often. But he was way beyond what I was used to being around. He worked at the railroad office. Well, it was really bad. And my dad had him as a cashier in the bank in Preston. And his wife didn't think he was making enough money, so she had him move to Pocatello and get a job at the railroad. Well, it ended up as one of the poorest jobs you could get. And then when he finally retired, they had a habit of, when you retired, they'd give you some kind of a job. Well, when they retired him, he'd had a pretty good job at first, but when they retired him, they put him on a road crew where he had to work on the railroads, fixing the railroads and things like that, which was a very horrible job. And that's about it. So I didn't know him too much. Vincent would be quite a bit older than me. Nelson wasn't because he didn't know him too well, was because he lived so far away and didn't get a chance to get back home very often. The other children, I was very close with them.